Hello, welcome to Revenant Reads. I'm Vin, and this is the Unread Books Tag. So this tag was created by Beyond Books, and I was tagged in it by Gareth over at Book Songs and Other Magic. And as the title suggests, these are about the books that we're not reading, the books that are in our possession that maybe especially go a long time without reading. And I'm definitely guilty of that. All the books that you see behind me, these are unread. I am in my office right now. My office space is where I pull from to read. Then when I'm done reading something, I bring it downstairs to the library. So the library is for read books. The office is for unread. So this is kind of where I walk around the room and I, kind of pick off my shelves and start planning what I want to read next. And, it's kind of one of those, rituals that I enjoy. And I think most readers would probably understand that, but if you're not a reader, you're probably not going to get it. So these are a series of prompts asking about questions about unread books. So let us begin. The first one is, how many books do you presently own? Give an estimate, if you are unsure, how many books of those are unread. So I own around 1,400 books, and in this room, there's around 400 or so. So I've read the overwhelming majority of my books. My downstairs library has around 1,000 books in it, and there's about 400 up here. So I own more books that I've read than that I haven't read, which I'm happy about. I was happy to find that statistic. Number two, do you also have ebooks? How many do you have? How many are unread? I don't own ebooks, and I don't like reading off of a screen. So no, I only have physical copies. Three, have you ever participated in a Read What You Own challenge? Why or why not? And if so, how did it go? I did on two occasions. One year I did a 50-book challenge, and I found that to just be, a little bit too long at my reading pace. So it was just too long to go without, the joy of just kind of going into a used bookstore and looking around and finding something. It's part of the fun of being a book lover. And sometimes I want to indulge in things like university press sales when they have like really good deals on books that would otherwise be very expensive to get. So I did the 50 books one year, but then the second year I did a 25-book challenge, and that worked a lot better. I would not be opposed to doing something like that again. I don't know if I would maybe adjust things a little bit though. Four, have you ever purchased the same book twice or more without realizing it? What did you do with the extra copy of books? I have. It's always been used copies. So, we have a lot of used book sales around us for libraries. We do have some, like I said, some used bookstores as well. So if I'm buying a book from those places, it's maybe $1, maybe $2. I might not be sure if I have it or not. Or sometimes I think I have it, but I think that the edition that I have is in pretty bad condition. And what I'm looking at here in the store might be a lot better. In which case, I end up, ultimately keeping the better condition. And if I haven't read it yet, then I'll use the bad condition just as like a reading copy, something I can like stuff into a bag and not really worry about its condition. Then when I'm done reading that one, I'll keep the nice copy and I'll donate the other one. I don't have a problem with donating books. Number 5, take 5 unread books from your shelf or choose 5 from your e-library and talk briefly about why you purchased them. Which of the 5 would you commit to reading within 90 days? And would you consider unhauling the unread books? So I did make a pile really quickly. I just looked around this room, and what I looked for is books that have been on my shelf for a long time, staring at me. Some of the books I'm most guilty, in my feelings about not having read them yet. And I figured in 90 days, I could commit to getting through these books. So I'm going to try and commit to all of them. The first one is going to be easy because it's very short, and that is The Stranger by Albert Camus. I've heard a lot about this. I know that it's well regarded. It's short. I should have read it by now. So this is one that I'll read probably maybe this month or next month or something like that. Another one that I'll probably read for October. This, Spook, Science Tackles the Afterlife by Mary Roach. I've had this for a long time. I already read her one, was The Bodies, something like that, about the life of cadavers. I read that I think at least 2 or 3 years ago, and I had planned on reading this after it, and I just didn't. So this will be a good one, I think, to read for Halloween season. So I think this is going to be an October read. And next one. This is I didn't buy this one. This was a gift that my wife had given me. Uh, I think before our kids were born. So it's been a long time. When was this published? You probably got it when it was new. Let me just look. Um, 2001. Yeah, it wasn't that old. But I probably had this on my shelf for at least 10 years, if not 15 or something like that. So this is Heavier Than Heaven, a biography of Kurt Cobain by Charles R. Cross. I've always liked Nirvana. I've always been interested in, knowing more about Kurt Cobain's life and what was going on during that whole time. I've watched Nirvana Unplugged many, many times. I think it's a terrific performance. So, yeah, I have, again, this has been staring at me. His face has been staring at me for years and years and years. And I just don't usually read biographies like this, so I kind of have to force myself to. So I'm going to use November, nonfiction November. I usually read nonfiction anyway, as history nonfiction throughout most of the year. So in nonfiction November, I try to target books that are on my shelf that are nonfiction that don't fall within the history realm, and I kind of consider that this. So this is going to be a November read. Okay, another one that I think will be October. Stephen King, Different Seasons. I was doing a Stephen King reading project where I was reading his stuff in publishing order chronologically, and I kind of just stopped at this one. Didn't get to it. It's been most of the year. I don't think I've read any other Stephen King this year. So this is something that I need to get back into, and I might as well use this opportunity right now. Another book that's been on my shelf for a very, very long time. So I think this is going to be an October read. And lastly, one of my next reads for September is going to be this, Undaunted Courage by Stephen Ambrose, the Lewis and Clark expedition. So this book is not new. This has been around for a very, very long time. It's been on my shelves for a very, very long time. So I decided this is the year I'm finally going to get to it. So yeah, this is my pile, right, of things that I am going to try and get to. That I am going to, right now at least, I am committing to getting to. Hopefully it all works out over the next 3 months, approximately, okay, around 90 days. So we'll see how I do. The last prompt says, the second last prompt, it's update us in 90 days. Did you read or unhaul? Why or why not? I don't know if I'll remember to do that. If anybody watching this feels like keeping track, you're welcome to, but I don't think I'm all that important. You have to keep that close eye on me. I am going to try and read these, though, in the 90 days. And if I don't get to them in 90 days, I'm not going to unhaul them. I know that already. And yeah, the last thing says tag other booktubers. I am so kind of out of the loop with a lot of things. Booktube, I don't know who does these things and who doesn't anymore. So I'm just going to say, if you like this prompt and you think it fits you, if you have a lot of unread books that, you need to evaluate, I would say, yeah, go ahead and do this tag. So, yeah, thank you to Beyond Books for creating this, and thanks to Gareth for tagging me. And as always, thank you, BookTube.